K-drama fans are loyal. We stay up all night. We defend our favorite couples like it's personal. We rewatch emotional scenes until we memorize the dialogue. But nothing, and I mean nothing, hurts more than investing 16 hours into a drama, only for the ending to ruin everything. From rushed finales to unnecessary tragedies and unfinished cliffhangers, here are the K-dramas between 2016 and 2025, whose endings fans are still debating to this day. Let's get into it. Number 1 on the list is a drama that wasn't just watched, it was devoured. High ratings, explosive chemistry, and one of the most emotionally charged romance arcs in recent years. We're talking about Queen of Tears. This 2024 romance-drama follows An Hyun-won and Hong Hyun, a wealthy heir and a sophisticated businesswoman who are initially headed for divorce. But as life tests them with betrayal, heartbreak, and unexpected tragedy, their love story resurfaces in ways no one expected. It wasn't just romance. It was healing, growth, and emotional depth. And viewers loved every second. So when Queen of Tears reached its finale, fans expected catharsis. Instead, what they got was intense emotional suffering wrapped in one final plot twist. After surviving betrayal, reconciliation, and renewed love, the ending leans heavily into a terminal illness storyline involving one of the main characters. This twist was dramatic. It was emotional, it made viewers cry, but it also divided them. Fan reaction. Why the illness twist? That felt forced. For some fans, the final arc felt like the emotional crescendo the story deserved. But for others, it felt like forced sadness, a dramatic choice that shifted tones just to deliver tears. At number 2, a drama that dominated ratings, topped charts, and captivated audiences with its cunning revenge narrative. This is Reborn Rich. Reborn Rich follows Yoon Hyun-woo, a loyal employee betrayed and murdered by his own company's chaebol family, the Sunyang Group. But instead of staying dead, he's reborn as the youngest grandson of the very family that destroyed him. Now he has one rule: take back everything they stole by their own game. What follows is corporate espionage, strategic manipulations, and one of the most fascinating revenge paths in recent K-drama history. Through 15 episodes, the story hits power plays, emotional growth, and smart strategy, all pushing toward one massive payoff. So when the final episode arrived, instead of a full-blown cathartic climax, the finale shifted back to the original timeline, minimizing the emotional weight of the protagonist's second life. Many expected an explosive revenge victory. Instead, it ended on a more subdued, introspective note. Fan reaction. We wanted rebellion, but many felt the emotional investment never fully paid off. At number 3, a romance that didn't just tell a love story. It built a world around dreams, timing, and the bittersweet reality of growing up. This is 2520, set against the backdrop of the late 1990s IMF crisis in South Korea. 2520 follows Na-hee-do, a high school fencer with big dreams, and Baek Ye-jin, a struggling journalist who lost everything in the economic downturn. Their paths collide, their chemistry blooms, and through fencing matches, career struggles, and personal growth, we watch them fall in love hard, heartfelt, and unforgettable. It was nostalgic. It was hopeful. It was real. But when the finale came, instead of the fairy tale reunion many fans hoped for, Hee-do and Ye-jin go their separate ways. No dramatic confession, no reunion years later, just two adults living their own lives, connected, maybe grateful, but no longer together. It was realistic, but for a story that spent 15 episodes building emotional investment, some fans felt it landed like a betrayal. For many fans, the ending didn't feel like closure. It felt like a pause, a moment of unresolved longing. Because even though their lives continued, the love story we were rooting for didn't get the traditional emotional payoff viewers had hoped for. The 4th on the list, this 2025 romantic comedy walked into hearts with a promise of sparks, passion, and emotional growth, only to trip over its own ending. We're talking about Dynamite Kiss. In Dynamite Kiss, we follow two emotionally scarred individuals who collide by chance and slowly discover not just chemistry, but healing, soft moments, explosive attraction, and a romance that had fans rooting for them from episode 1. It was playful, vulnerable, heartfelt, and it was one of 2005's most talked about love stories. So when the finale arrived, fans expected fireworks. Instead, what they got was fast closure. Rather than building toward a powerful emotional payoff, the writers resolved the conflict with a sudden shift. Goals aligned, wounds healed, all obstacles swept aside in a very short span. It almost felt too neat, too tidy, to click. A slow burn build met an abrupt finish. Fans didn't hate the ending because it was happy. They hated it because it undercooked the finale's emotional weight. After weeks of tension, longing, and unresolved feelings, the resolution came too fast to feel earned. Fifth on the list is Moon Lovers, Scarlet Heart Rio 2016. Moon Lovers, Scarlet Heart Rio is a historical romance about Haisu, a modern woman transported back to the Goryeo dynasty, where she becomes entangled in the royal court and romantic dynamics with multiple princes, most centrally Prince Wang, so later King Gwangjong. In the finale, after enduring betrayal, political turmoil, and heartbreak, Haisu dies in the past. Although she briefly awakens in the modern world and remembers her past life, she ultimately returns to her original timeline with the memories of her love for Wang So still intact. Meanwhile, in Goryeo, Wang So lives on and eventually becomes King Gwangjong, but he remains alone and separated from her forever. Unlike many romance dramas, there is no definitive happy reunion, not in the past, and not clearly in the present. The story ends with emotional longing and unanswered closure. This left fans mad. Fans felt the ending was painfully tragic and didn't deliver emotional payoff after a long build-up of love between the two leads. Many viewers were left devastated by the separation and the fact that Wang So never reunites with Haisu. Many viewers described Moon Lovers as intensely emotional and unforgettable, even years after watching. And up until now, some fans still ask for a season 2. At number 6 on the list, a drama that thrilled audiences with supernatural charm, unforgettable visuals, and a romance that felt destined. Hotel del Luna. This 2019 fantasy romance follows Jang Manwol, the eternally cursed owner of a mystical hotel for lost souls, and Gu Chansun, its mortal manager who helps guide ghosts to the afterlife. Their chemistry was striking, their journey beautifully layered with grief, forgiveness, and redemption. Episode after episode, viewers rooted for these two to find love and peace. In the finale, Manwol confronts her past, forgives her lingering regrets, and finally earns the right to cross into the afterlife. Chansun, whose connection to her was deepened through fate and past life symbolism, chooses his duty to guide her toward peace rather than try to keep her with him forever. This left fans with mixed feelings. Many viewers loved how Hotel del Luna remained true to its themes, letting go, emotional healing, and accepting that love doesn't always mean forever. But others were torn. Some said the goodbye, while thematically fitting, felt like half closure rather than a full resolution for a relationship they invested years of emotion into. Fan vibes online range from heartbreaking tears, no eternal happy ending, sad but meaningful. And coming in at number 7 on the list of disliked endings, we have Big Mouth. This 2022 legal thriller stars Lee Jong-sik as Park Chang-ho, a struggling lawyer who suddenly becomes mistaken for a notorious genius criminal known as Big Mouth. With his identity now under scrutiny, every episode turns into a fight for survival, as he and his wife unravel a deep conspiracy that connects law, politics, and organized crime. The ending that divided fans. After weeks of mind games, tense courtroom battles, and live-or-death struggles, the climax arrives with 2 major developments. 1. The villain's downfall feels abrupt. 2. The female lead, despite surviving every threat, is suddenly revealed to have a terminal diagnosis close to the finale. This shift wasn't just emotional, it changed the genre tone entirely, right when viewers expected a high-stakes legal or conspiratorial resolution. This sudden medical turn left many fans frustrated, not because tragedy can't be powerful, but because it felt out of place in the final arc of a legal conspiracy thriller. And at number 8, a drama that promised explosive payoffs and revenge, only to leave viewers hanging right at the climax. Vagabond. This 2019 action thriller stars Lee Seung-gi as Cha Dalgan, a stuntman whose nephew dies in a mysterious plane crash. When the tragedy turns out to be more than an accident, Dalgan teams up with Go Harry, a National Intelligence Service agent played by Bai Suzy, to uncover a sprawling conspiracy involving politicians, espionage, and government secrets. Week after week, the plot escalates with explosions, twists, and constant danger, leading fans to expect a massive resolution in the finale. But the ending divided fans. The finale airs. Dalgan fights. Secrets are revealed. Betrayals surface. And then, it just stops. No big payoff. No final confrontation with the mastermind. An unfinished story. No resolution of the conspiracy arc that had been building for 16 episodes. Instead, the show ends on an unresolved cliffhanger, seemingly setting up a second season. At number 9, a drama with a bold premise, a high-concept mystery, and an ending that left fans confused more than heartbroken. This is Slime. Slime is a psychological thriller that centers around an inexplicable phenomenon. People suddenly begin seeing red lines above others' heads, lines that signify deep, hidden romantic or sexual connections. What started as a strange symbol becomes a social mirror, exposing secrets, desires, lies, and forbidden connections. Viewers were drawn in by the mystery, the symbolism, and the questions begging to be answered. But the finale ruined it all. Viewers expected a clear revelation. Instead, the show leaned fully into abstraction. The final episode presented metaphors and symbolic visuals with no definitive explanation of the line's origin, purpose, or consequences. A narrative built on mystery ended with mystery. Fans expected clarity but got ambiguity instead. The 10th and last on the list is a drama that built tension around secrets, deception, and psychological unraveling, but ended in a way that left fans scratching their heads more than moved their hearts. This is The Manipulated. The Manipulated follows a protagonist who is unexpectedly thrust into a frightening conspiracy after being framed and psychologically controlled by powerful forces. Every episode peels back a layer of corruption, betrayal, and illusion, pushing the main character toward what seems like a climactic confrontation and justice. The series builds momentum through manipulation, moral ambiguity, and high emotional stakes. But then in the final episode, instead of giving fans clarity, the ending chose ambiguity. Major antagonists don't face clear consequences. Some key plot lines are left dangling, and the resolution feels more like a pause button than a conclusion. Instead of finally exposing the puppet masters and delivering justice, the finale leaves us with more questions than answers. Not every controversial ending is objectively bad. Some are realistic, some are poetic, some are intentionally tragic. But when fans invest hours into a story, they expect emotional payoff. So now I want to know, which K-drama ending are you still mad about? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more K-drama deep dives.